Also, we have another mentor coach. So I want to make the groups a little bit smaller so you can do more discussion. So we're making some changes in those groups also today for that as we go forth. Also, we will go forth next week, October 31st. We'll be right here. For those of you who I know will be taking your children out trick-or-treating or wherever you're taking them to, I really want to encourage you to make the 7:30 part of it. We got an exciting dream class we started. I was excited because our dream coach, she was sharing with me what's going to be happening at 7:30. If you can't make it next Monday, we will be doing the same thing, and she's going to go to Grand Rapids. You are going to Grand Rapids, aren't you, Lord? She's going to Grand Rapids at 7:30, just for that 7:30 part of it. The dream coaching is going to be an exciting new part that you're going to venture off into, and that'll be the first week, and that's next week class. We still will be meeting at 6, but the dream coach will be something we're introducing next week. Also, if you do not receive an email from me today, please let me know. That means I don't have your email address. I sent it about an hour, 2 hours ago. I want to make sure I send an email because I have to. We'll be we'll be communicating through the website, but also through Facebook. It's a private Facebook page, and Janelle's going to help me with that. Let's give Janelle a hand, because I did a whole lot. I need to give her a bigger hand than that. I need a whole lot of help with that. She had me down, so I got to get that list to her, make sure it's correct, so she can add you to the page, and then we're going to send you out. I sent you out with the link to it. This is private. This is not for your friends. It's only for students and graduates of LTCA for that. And that's how we'll be communicating with you also, is through that page. As I said, we will be changing on Rowena. Some of you know Miss Rowena Sneed. She's been helping us each week. Give her a hand. She's one of our mentor coaches. And some of you will be in her group today. We have to make some changes for some coaches because she's very strong. She's a Rowena, a dream incubator.
Destiny dream.
Yeah.
Destiny.
When I first really sat down and talked to her, this is before she took the class last year. I told her, I said, man, Marina, I can really tell you have a heart to coach. Because she just showed me how I can't explain.
I'm an incubator for vision. That's my name.
Okay, incubator for vision. That's her name. That's what she said. Okay, give her a hand. She's going to be here. So she's going to be pouring some things out of you. And she's already added some things for that. So we'll be breaking our groups up a little bit more. Because I want the group smaller. There's 2 seats right up here. Are you going to find 2? Okay, Joyce has 2. Okay, so this time, the first hour, we're just going to talk a little bit. I'm going to share with you some things about Christian coaching. Just some aspects. You missed this about a week ago. Remember when we did something different? So I'm going to go through you about some things on Christian coaching. This is supposed to have been the second class. You've already taken the third part. So Christian coaching, we're going to get started on that. And just going to share with you some things about it. What would it take to become a successful Christian coach? Now, I also mentioned that I don't consider myself a Christian coach. I am a Christian and I coach. But if you want to do coaching in the church and you want to talk to, and we talked about that before, about people coaching people in the church, what we do today will be a great covering for that. This will be a great, in fact, I personally believe every church should be operating under this as a Christian coach. When someone gets saved, they should have a Christian coach come right into them, or a life coach, and bring them about, have to help them, disciple them. We're going to get into that today. But these are some things you need to know. First of all, you have to be Christ-centered. As a Christian life coach, first and foremost, it's about who you are as a follower of Jesus Christ. Everything I do, I want to say, God, I want you to say, well done, good and faithful servant. Well done. I want to do those things that will please my Heavenly Father. And I want to coach from the heart. You're going to hear us use that term a lot, coach from the heart. Not just from the mind, but from the heart, where you really have a heart for that person, and you have a heart to represent Christ in all that you do. 2, you have to be passionate. Successful coaches are passionate about helping others. They enjoy helping people succeed, break through, go to another level, reach a goal, or become successful in life. Who here is passionate? Anybody here passionate? Okay, I'm getting ready to yank some of y'all out of this class right now. I'm waiting on you, girl, Catherine. Make sure you're passionate passionate about coaching, about helping people go to another level. Man, I get great joy whenever I see someone make what I call a first down. If they tell me they have the one little breakthrough on their way to the touchdown, I get excited about that. I celebrate with them. Believe. Christian coaches are realistically optimistic and believe in their client's potential. They believe in the potential each person has in Christ and the ability to take responsibility for their life. They believe all clients are capable of growing and learning, enabling their client to do what they could not be done before. You have to believe in people's ability to hear from God. You know, I was talking to Lee earlier today. Let's welcome Lee. She's been away. I was talking to Lee, and I said, Lee, I tried to coach somebody, but I had to put my pastor hat on after a minute or two. Lee said, I heard you, Pastor Armstrong. I heard you was trying to coach him. I said, yeah, I sure was. I'm going to try to coach everybody. But sometimes I just have to put my pastor's hat on and say, okay, this is, I got to give you some direction. Okay. But leaders want coaching because leaders have a bias to action, and leaders are problem solvers. That's why a lot of times you call leadership coaching life coaching. You know, for that, because we work mostly with leaders. How do I get that back? Fourth one, comfortable. I want you to, this simply means, I want you to be comfortable in your own skin. Who are you? Don't try to be an impression of anyone else. Who are you? Be comfortable with yourself. You know, thank God for who you are, that He created you special, unique, and whole. Don't try to imitate anyone else. And that's the biggest thing I learned from my pastor, our pastor, Pastor Brooks. And the pastor, he just told me, be yourself. Don't try to imitate me. I did many, many years ago before most of you. I tried to tell jokes, but I'm just not good at it. And I tried to do some things. He was, the pastor would say, Irvin, I don't want you to be like me. There's only one me. He said, be yourself. That's all I want you to be yourself. Don't try to imitate anyone else. You know, be comfortable in your own skin. Learner. The reason why you're in the class is because you have a strong desire to learn. For some of you, that might even be your value. A value you have is as a learner. I want to grow. I want to learn. And when you're coaching someone, I guarantee you're going to learn something yourself. That's why I enjoyed coaching. No matter who I was coaching, I learned myself from them. A lot of times you'll learn more from them than what you think you're giving them, because really, your responsibility is not to give advice, but to create an atmosphere where things come out of them. And that's what a coach is, but you're a learner. Motivator. Great coaches can motivate and inspire others, their clients. And the key is that the client has to be motivated themselves, but you are an encourager, you are a motivator to help them alongside. Now, if a client does not want to do the work, don't stay with them. I don't care if they're your best friend. Let them go. Sometimes those are the hardest ones to coach, are your friends. You know. Continue on. Confidentiality. You have to make sure, we said it here, what we say here stays here. When you're coaching someone, keep it confidential. Don't put your business out in the street. Give their name. Do you know what so-and-so did? How could they have done that? You don't want to do that. That's a disrespect of privacy in that regard. Honest, a Christian coach values honesty. And what I mean by honesty in this area is not just you being honest, but if the client is not keeping up with their responsibilities, you have to be honest to let them know. Don't just keep tagging them along. They're not doing what they said to do. And today's chapter, we're talking about responsibility. That client has to be responsible. Don't just keep them on if they're not carrying out their part of the responsibility. We're going to get more into that a little later. But they have to be responsible. Intelligent. While it is important, intelligence goes beyond the intellect. While it is important, it ranks alongside emotional maturity and good old-fashioned common sense. That's what my wife calls. She said, just people just need to have good old-fashioned common sense on what to do. And as a Christian coach, this is something you're going to cultivate, develop, and hopefully help people see that what they have. Curious. And we're going to talk about curiosity today when we talk about listening. You probably read that. How many read that in the book? Let me see your hands. I'm just going to say, okay, some of you didn't read your book, okay? Because it's a good key point in there is curiosity as opposed to diagnostics. You know, relational. That's one of the keys. Whenever you're working with someone one-on-one, you're going to learn how to relate to them, how to build that trust, how to build that rapport with that person. And relational is very, very important in coaching. And the reason why one of the things coaches are leaders is because if you're a leader and you have no one following you, then you're not a leader. You're just going along for a stroll. You know, and as a good coach, you're going to be relating to people, leading people, and not leading them as an authoritarian, but leading them in influence. You're influential. Perceptive, successful coaches perceive the truth from what their client is saying. Perception often comes through being a well-trained listener. One of the key components of coaching is listening. And you're going to get a different perspective for that client as you listen to them. Not to tell them what to do, but to ask them the questions that will pour out of them what they should do, what they know to do. Again, focus. Again, this is a part of skill. Focus on every client during a coaching session is paramount. That means you can't have your cell phone on. When you're coaching a client one-on-one, you want to be in that room, closed in. Now I know a few of you have little children, so you're going to find that time to work with the clients you work with, but you got to really be focused. I like what he said in the book, and it helped me because I want me to remember some things. He says, take 10 minutes before to get focused. And so I'm going to have to do that because I have forgotten that part. Why you want to get everything, all the distractions out your mind, focus and pray. And that's very important in that area. You want to make sure you're giving that person your undivided attention. Whether you're coaching someone in the church, someone as a complimentary gesture session, or you're coaching for pay. You want to be focused. And I want to tell you, it's so important to pray before you coach that person. And that is simple. Lord, just help me to bring out of that person what you want out of them. Doesn't have to be long and deep, but you want to be focused in that area. Courageous, terrific coaches ask the hard questions. When I was in Grand Rapids on Thursday, and I was working with the groups in coaching, and one of my coaches got stuck. And so I was sharing with them. I said, I want to take off. I said, can I just share some things, what I'm hearing your client said? And he said, yes, Pastor, I'm just sharing. I said, okay. I had to ask the client some hard questions because he didn't know what he wanted. So sometimes you coach people, they're so broad, they're not focused. You have to wheel them back in to help them discover, what do you really want? And you got to make sure they get a clear understanding of what do they want. And so I asked him a couple of questions. He said, man, I didn't know that. They were hard questions because I had to get them pointed on, what do you want? And you're going to see some of those questions will change a person's whole demeanor around. Because he was just way off there. He did not know what he wanted. He kept going here, there. I said, time out. And the coach got him frustrated with him about that.
Can I add a comment to that?
Yes, you may.
I think one of the things that I like in the book too is the reminder of being focused and not letting your preconceived notions, your opinions about what a person is saying, your pre-knowledge of what you think they should do. That's sometimes the hardest thing to focus and keep your own stuff out of the way while you're listening.
That is the hardest thing. Are you ready to give an answer? Or you have something trouble you that day, and that's running around in your mind. And that's why you got to be perfect. That's why I believe we got to take some time out before. Respectful, the most successful coaches meet their clients where they are. We neither judgment nor agenda to change the client's values or priorities. Every client you coach, they're not going to think like you. So that simply means that you got to respect the thing. And we're going to give you some scenarios today. I'm excited about what we're going to give you. You're going to get a chance to coach, but not coach any one individual. I'm going to give you a situation. And when I break you into your groups, you're going to get a chance to coach from that situation. And someone that's very judgmental. I can't wait to tell them. I just want to say it and see your faces. That's what I want to do, see your faces, how you're going to respond. How dare they do that as a Christian? Yes, boss. Oh, no, that's Catherine.
I'm just the boss to the boss come back.
Okay.
You're coaching someone and they start asking you questions. So you're asking them and they'll say, so what would you do in that situation? You're like, no, that's not how it's supposed
they ask me, so what I would do, one of the things I always present, that's one of the few times you can tell them what you would do.
Okay.
As long as it's not the only option. One of the techniques you're going to learn is called 5 options. And that's when that's a good time to bring it up. And I would say, if they ask me, what would you do? I said, this is what I would do, but this is not necessarily the best for you. Okay? I got to be able to make sure, because if they take it and run with it and they mess up,
It's your focus.
they're going to want to blame you for it. And I'm saying, anytime I give them an option, I have done that before, it'll always come out, may not be the best option for you, and you come up with some more. You know, and again, we're getting into what we call 5 options. It's a technique for helping people to develop options. And that's one of the hardest things for people to do, come up with 5. They come up with 1 or 2. Sometimes they get stuck on 1. I was talking to one person trying to coach them. Everything I did, I tried to coach. I said, give me an option. And she kept saying, this is my only option. I said, no, it isn't. She said, yes, it is. I said, think outside the box. I'm thinking outside the box. I mean, she had questions. She had things. And finally, she came back to me the next day. We didn't come finish. She came back the next day. She said, Pastor Armstrong, I realized I had more options. And she got some more options. And then we worked on some things then.
So that's part of the reason why sometimes if the person will ask me a question, I'll work at not answering. I really work not to answer. What I will do is say, after you've brainstormed a little bit, then I'll share some of my options. But let me hear your ideas first, and then I'll share with you some ideas that you can consider.
That's very good, John. Yeah, brainstorm not the answer, but try to get them the answer. And again, most people come with 2 or 3, just like next week we can introduce you to dreams. We're going to ask you to come up with so many of something. Y'all going to have your jaw's going to drop. What? I said, yeah, you're going to come up with it. Educate. Successful coaches teach their clients how to benefit most from coaching. And you're going to get this as you learn. All of this is going to be learned, going to be ingrained in you over the next year, the next 8 months, 7 months. Flexible. Wise coaches determine how much accountability each client wants and accommodates accordingly, allowing the client to take full responsibility for his or her action or inaction. You are not Jesus Jr. So your job is not to say, because you're going to talk to some clients, they're going to make some way off base decisions, and you're going to be thinking, man, you want to let them go. Let them go. You know, let them go. And I've done that. I've had lessons people, and I knew they'll run into a brick wall. But I'm not going to take responsibility for them. It's easier to just tell someone what to do. It's harder to coach them, but you're going to be benefit from it. You're going to see that more as we talk about coaching today and as we go through some demonstrations and illustration for you. Generous. Yes.
Before you go forward, when doing the reading with just what you said, failure is sometimes a catalyst for growth. So
That's good. But I know we're going to run across people who, man, we just, oh man, please don't make that decision. Let them go. I got some now I'm dealing with. Like I told you, I had to put on my pastor side today. It was necessary. I'm still a pastor. I'm loving and caring. I'm going to give you the word, you know. But I try to coach everyone to start off with. Generous. Successful coaches are generous with their clients, resources, and schedule while maintaining boundaries. The one thing you don't want to be is a dumping ground where that person is pulling all their toxic waste into you. They're doing all their complaining, all while they're failing and stuff. You don't want to be a garbage dump. You can be generous, but you want to also let them know. Remember I said, get back to the point. Get back to your action point. What are you doing? You know, and yet at the same time, you have to know where the balance is. How much do I listen to a person? Because when you really listen to someone, it really draws them in. But what are you listening to them saying? That's the important part. What are they saying? Compassion. Compassion is neither sympathy nor empathy, but a necessary mix that allows coaches to relate to their clients in a positive manner. I want you to know in a positive manner. Don't agree with them on going downhill, or that God is not for them. You want to relate to them in a positive manner. Great coaches are able to communicate compassion while still supporting their client in moving ahead. If they get to I really had it last year. I got to pick out my counselors a little better this year. But last year I had about 3 or 4 counselors. And boy, I would say, if you're dealing with the past, see Donna Levette. Okay? I used to say, I would say Stephen, no, not Stephen Hicks. See Patrick Coffey. Don't you live in that past. Coaching focus on the future. Doesn't mean you have to have past issues. They may still have past issues, but they want to go on the future. You're not a counselor. Most of you here are not. We got one too. I used to use your mama all the time. See something. I one time I had all my counselors stand. I'm gonna do that one week. All counselors said stand up, so we know who to go to, who are licensed to take care, to work with you. Like, while issues involving change tend to be serious, great coaches enjoy lightness and laughter with their clients to keep perspective, making their coaching sessions enjoyable as well as productive. And what I simply mean, just don't take yourself so serious. Be yourself. Now, if I'm very serious, and God used 2 people to move that seriousness out of me where I could at least laugh at myself. And that was Joyce and Pastor Brooks. Over the years, they were there. Everything's okay. You don't have to be so serious about it. I was real tight, moving nowhere. And they allowed me and said, lighten up. Healthy. The most successful coaches are healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, and financially. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have problems in any of those areas, but that means you are working out of those problems. I hope we will do it, I don't know when, that my master coach gets a chance to talk to you. She will share with you her dependency while she was a coach. She was codependent and almost destroyed her life. But what it led to her being born again and saved. Well, she's still coaching. That was back in the early 2000s. No, when did I meet her? About the middle of 2007. And she's gonna visit us by Skype and share her testimony. Now she's happily married, husband, 2 children, and doing well, and still coaching, as she sees fit. Committed, great Christian coaches are committed to God, and that's first and foremost. They're committed to God, to coaching, to their clients, and to challenging them to grow and change. Your purpose is to work with that client to see a transformation take place in their life. That's part of your purpose as a coach. Professional, strong coaches are professional in manner and business. They are secure in their professional identity and portray confidence, stability. It is a profession, and for those who go into that profession, you will represent well. Again, coaching is done, 90% of coaching is done over the telephone. Very few is done in-house. Even this right here, this is different. Most people do training over the phone. I'm looking to go to the training over the phone. I'm just trying to figure out how to get everybody to coach as much as I do. But I really believe you need to practice. And prayerful, wise coaches pray before each session for their client, knowing this is an important element. I can't overemphasize praying. Prayer produces intimacy to whom you pray, which is God, for whom you pray, which is one another, and with whom you pray. Even if you pray with that client right there. If you know where your client is, do you mind, can we pray together? But pray before you coach, and don't try to rush into it. I'd rather have you pray before you coach than to pray with the client. I want you to pray with the client, but they may not want to pray. I used to do that with my kids at school. I said, can I pray with you? One fellow said he couldn't. He said, I'm not praying with you, Coach Armstrong. You gave me a B. I said, you prayed, you might have got an A. No, I didn't say that.
That's right. Yeah, he prayed.
But prayer is so important. There's a process. The reason I'm going through this fast is the second half is going to be, I want to really give you at least 30 minutes to practice coaching in the second half. There's a process involved in Christian coaching. And there's a process involves 5 things. And this process, whether you're coaching someone from a Christian perspective or not a Christian perspective, the process is still the same. And so the first thing is awareness. That client is going to become aware of their need. Now, sometimes they'll come to you because they want to coach and say, this is what I need to do. But other times they're not totally aware of it. but they will become aware. Anytime you're doing a blog, and those of you who are going into the coaching of the business, you're doing a blog, your blog is showing people how to become aware of what you do and how you can help them. And that helps them become aware, I need that. And that's how you build your coaching business and that, as for a blog. The second thing is an assessment. You assess where you are. So you're assessing to the clients, assessment, where are you? That's what God said to Adam. First question was a coaching question. Where are you? Who told you you were naked? Those are all coaching questions. But you assess where you are. And there's 3 ways a person is assessed. Okay. I figure y'all do a good job writing. Keep writing. But you know this is going to be in the office. So you can go ahead and look at it again. There's 3 ways. One is God. God will reveal to a person, you need to grow in this area. They'll get something, a witness by the Spirit, that they need to grow in the area and they need to come higher. And they'll come to you and say, man, God is coming. Especially as me. I was talking to a man, he got saved yesterday. At Stone Church. Came up front, got saved, was a first-time guest. I was back there talking to him. I was just asking him a question. He said, I used to go to Christian Life Center back years ago. Something happened in my life. I'm coming back. I'm starting over. And right there, he was hungry for someone to say, what do you want God to do in your life? Where are you? Okay, we're going to give you some coaching questions. We created 40 questions helping someone to coach someone through who wants spiritual growth. Okay, and one is God, 2 is coaching questions. So you can ask them coaching questions that will bring it out of them and say, man, this is where I am. I need to pray more. Now you don't tell me, well, you need to pray an hour a day. You need to join me with Pastor Brooks at 6 o'clock. Now you say, well, tell me more. What do you need to pray about? What do you mean I need to pray more? What does more mean to you? Where are you right now? And then the next one is an assessment tool. And each of you are going to have an assessment tool to work with today. Nope, it'll be Friday. Won't be today, but you're going to get a chance to get it. The third thing is alignment. When you're coaching someone as a Christian, the key thing you want to know, are they aligned with God's will for their life? Now, if they're not aligned with it, don't tell them they have to get aligned with it. If they are, encourage them. Encourage them. You know, if someone wants to divorce someone and marry another, that's not in alignment with God's will. Right. But they get a revelation, man, I'm going down the wrong path. That's right. Everyone understand what I'm saying? And so you as a coach, you can encourage them as they go along the right path. As they go along what they think is the best path. But I'm going to tell you, you can get folks out there, don't let them look at your face. That's why I know why we coach over the phone now. They can't. So the third one is alignment. The fourth one is an action plan. They got to have an action plan, SMART goals, and action steps takes place at this level. So you make sure you get an action plan and SMART goals. And next week, the chapters we're reading will be on SMART goals, so you get a good idea about SMART goals. And the fourth one is accountability, either with the peer coach, which you'll be doing here, or with the coach. And you know my saying, people don't do what's expected, they do what's inspected. And that's where the accountability part comes in that regard. Here are some questions. Now again, all you do is go in the back office, student login, the question's going to be right there. Is that right, Antoinette, when I bring them in tomorrow? Give Antoinette a hand. I know I need you. I'm building a team, glory to God. Okay. Spiritual coaching questions. How do you know when God has spoken to you? That's just one. How do you know when God has spoken to you? What do you believe are the top 3 things on God's change agenda for you this year? So God is a transformational agent. We're not. We're a tool he'll use to help that, but God's going to change it. You know, but you're asking them questions that will cause them to think. Now, we have 40 questions like this. I'm going to just share with you a few. What one thing do you most regret about last year, and what will you do about it this year? Just coaching questions. And the whole idea, this goes in your toolkit. And you'll say, as you go over it, and when you're coaching someone, the Holy Spirit is going to bring it to remembrance to you. What one thing could you do to improve your prayer life? They talk about prayer. What one thing can you do? Tell me more. That's going to be your favorite line. Tell me more. Can you elaborate more on this? That's going to be your favorite line of coaching. In which spiritual discipline, prayer, study, meditating, etc., do you most want to make progress this year, and what will you do about it? All these are spiritual questions to help a person grow spiritually. What one thing you could do to increase your love of God this year? I might think love is measured in obedience, but they may think generosity. They may think something else. So I'm asking them, you give me the one thing that will show you that you have increased your love for God. A lot of times we sing that song, I want more of you and more of you. What does that mean? That's a good question. What do you mean by more of God? You know, and so I want you to start thinking, even in the songs, think about the question that could come as a coach. Because people relate to songs. And you can bring that song back to their attention. You know that song? You ever sung that song before? Want more of you? What does that mean to you? It's all about spiritual growth. What is the most helpful new way you can strengthen your Christian walk or life? Now you'll get 40 of these. I like the number 40, it means transition. So 40 questions to transition in someone's life who wants to grow in Christ. And you'll get 40 of these, and then they'll be also in our student login for that. Transformational discipleship assessment. Another tool is you have a person take an assessment. And you'll have a chance to take your assessment on Friday for that. And they call it a TDA. There are 8 discipleship attributes that are measured here. And what you put in is what you get out. Now, whenever you take an assessment, you're not putting down the answer you think is the right answer. You're putting down the answer where you are. And that's the most important thing you want to get to know. I'm putting down the answer where I am. And be very honest, be very transparent about it. Now, when you take the assessment, no one will see your assessment but me. And I'm not sharing it with anybody. But when you're coached, and I'm going to talk about some questions, you're going to coach each other based upon the assessment if you want to. But I believe every church should have the opportunity to take this assessment, every member who wants to grow. Because if you don't know where you are, then you won't know your starting point of where you need to go. And so the assessment is there. And one is Bible engaging. How much time are you in the Word, reading the Word, studying the Word, meditating on the Word? There's going to be some questions on there. And you want to take them in. You're going to find out in the assessment, in a tool like this, we call it a wheel of life in another area. But you want to see how balanced your will is. And you're going to see in some areas, man, I'm doing good. In other areas, I'm not doing anything. And then you got to decide, is that an area I want to grow? Sometimes people treat Christianity like a smorgasbord. I'm just going to take this part here. I'm not going to take this part. I'm not going to take the love walk because I'm mad at somebody. But I'm going to take the prosperity more. Bible engagement. These are the 8 disciplines here. Obeying God and denying self. What do you mean deny self? This is going to be this one it's measuring. Serving God and others. Sharing Christ. Exercising faith. Seeking God. Building relationships. Unashamed transparency. What are you willing to share? Are you really transparent? Or you're hiding stuff? And so those are the 8 you're going to be really, they must break them down into 9 because I thought I went over 9. I've taken this before and I saw the areas I need to work on. I was fine with it. I knew it going in. I said, I know I'm going to need to work on these 2 areas right here. And lo and behold, very clear. I don't call it a weak area. We call it strength or growth areas. Some areas you're strong in, other areas you need to grow in. So I don't let people know, okay, that's your weak area. No, that's an area of growth. Do you want to grow in that area? What steps are you going to take to grow in that area? And so really, you might get a person, this is only for someone who really wants to grow. Every Christian doesn't want this because they don't want to know their weakness. So they know they're weak. They don't want to know their growth areas, or they know their growth areas. They said, I want to work on it. You know, but I believe every church, not only do they have one for this, for just individuals, they have one to measure the temperature of a church. When I was thinking about going in as a pastor coach before starting the academy, I was saying this would be a good one to let the church know what areas are you need growing in. What areas are your strong areas? You know. And then they have another one for planting people into the ministry. All these are spiritual disciplines. You know. And they've done a lot of background. It's not something that just came overnight. It's been over time that this has been developed. Okay. Now, anytime someone you give an assessment to, and they come out of the assessment, there's some questions you can have asked them of. So they get a good idea of what you get a good idea of what they did on assessment. And these are some questions here. And these are questions if you decide to coach each other, and over this assessment right here, what's called a TDA, or you're doing a DISC assessment. Down to yours is colors. The one you use with the
personality assessment.
yeah, that's going to be colors next year. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to learn something. If you haven't taken the colors assessment, that's a powerful one. Doesn't matter what assessment a person takes. These questions are geared towards any assessment. Okay? One, how did you do? You want to explain how did they feel it? Okay. Two, what were your results? These are just easy questions to ask someone about any assessment they take. What is your reaction? Some people get mad. No, that's not me. That's not me. Okay, and tell me more about it. I keep using that word. You're going to learn that word. Tell me more. Tell me more about why you come up with that's not me. Sometimes if you use the word why, it makes a person defensive. So I try to avoid the word why, depending on the situation, but you want to be careful when to use the word why. What are your strength areas? What areas are the areas you said, man, I can see that. If it's in the colors assessment, which was, or the DISC, what areas really resonated with you? You can see yourself in those areas. Okay? What are your growth areas? What area would you like to work on? You know, we have an assessment in the spring. It's on building teams. Like Robert, I know these two young ladies. I know they like to build businesses. But one of the key to your business growing is what type of team you build. And too many times people build the wrong team. They don't even know what their team looks like. They just bring somebody. They look good. They look like they're gonna fit. No, they're not. I know how I flow. So I know I need administrative help at New Genesis. So I got that one there right here. I know I need Tammy for something. Everybody brings something home. And when you get into the spring session, we're going to talk about how you build teams. So let's say someone like a Daryl, and Daryl, you might go into leadership coaching. This is going to be a key. You'll be able to talk to corporations. And Catherine, we've already had this talk about going into leadership. You'll be able to talk to corporations because you're going to show people how to build the most effective team in their workplace. That's why many of these businesses don't make it, because they don't have the right team in place. They're constantly bringing people on and they're leaving. And they're not feeling the need. And we're going to spend more time in that. I don't know how I got onto that, but let's go on. Whatever you like to work on. What is significant about this assessment? What stood out to you? And if something really resonates with you, you're going to share that. That person's going to share that. Or, man, I didn't know that. Now I know why that's it. Don and I had a talk once. And I haven't taken an assessment yet. But we're talking about the legacy and the history. And I still don't know how to do it. But when she would explain to me, it was an aha moment with me. I said, wow. Now I know where my family, my father was a realtor. My grandfather was a realtor. I had that real estate starting business up in me. I know where all that came from. And my children, they're going crazy on real estate. You know, I know where that comes from. It comes from generation to generation. Now, Donna's going to teach me that. She just gave me, it was about 3 minutes we talked about it, wasn't it? I said, yeah. And I hadn't picked that up. but it's going back generation to generation. My grandfather owned land, my father owned homes. I started off going into real estate, failed the exam, and then dropped off. He wanted me to go into corporate. Then my children got excited about real estate. I know the flow, but it's part of a legacy, you know. And I never heard it in any destiny program I've been in. I've read plenty of books, but in that 3-minute conversation with Donna about what your destiny class is going to contain, I had an aha moment. And I started looking back, and I started talking to my brother, my oldest brother. Some of you know Sterling. He's the dancer. He's the historian of the Armstrong family. He's taking us all the way back to the 1800s.
Oh, wow.
You know, on the Armstrong side, so he knows that. I'm trying to find out what else. I knew my great-grandfather had thousands of acres. And he was white. He had thousands of acres. And so I knew that, you know, but I knew he had land ownership. And so, but it didn't hit me until Don and I had that little simple talk. But that's what you get. That was just, I didn't take the assessment. That was just significant in our conversation. But assessment will do that. You'll get an aha, especially a good coach. Really, Donna coached me about it without me having taken the assessment. She was just telling me a little bit because I was saying, man, tell me more about this. And she was sharing it with me. What does this mean to you when it's significant? These are questions you're asking someone as a coach. Now, you don't have to ask them all in order, a lot of Holy Spirit to guide you, but it's just something to be in your toolkit that you can use for any assessment you give a person that you're coaching. Another thing, what could God be saying to you about this? Whatever your score is, whatever you were assessed on, what could God be saying, whatever came up. And then my favorite step is, tell me more. Elaborate more on this. I'm constantly saying that because I want to hear it from their perspective. The more they tell, I'm getting them focused, and then I'm listening with the intent of what key words they're bringing up. And I address those key words as we go forward. Yes?
If there's 4 areas and one is dramatically in need of help,
Yeah, a growth area.
but they want to work on something else, but this one really needs more attention first, do you address that, or do you go with whatever they want to do? You kind of help them to...
Well, see, in some assessments, I won't know the answers. I won't know where they are. But if I knew where they are, I wouldn't try to direct them to that. I would ask the question, what is your concern about this one? If I knew that was like a lower score and should be a growth area, because they may say, I'm gonna staff that area.
So what you could do is say, well, how, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rate yourself there? And then, let's just say they say 3, and say, well, how could you get that up to a 7? What would you do? And that would address that.
It would address it if she wants to get it up to, if she wants to get it up to.
So you could say, well, how could we get that up to us,
One of the keys in your reading that you read, it said, be careful how you ask questions so that you're not directing them in a particular direction. So it's gonna have to come, you're gonna have to pull it out of them.
Right.
The information that you have available, and the Holy Spirit is gonna have to show you how to pull that out of them, if the Holy Spirit wants that to come out.
The big thing is, if they don't wanna work on it, me directing them there, they're not gonna work on it. Okay, so normally I'll probably leave it alone.
It
You
depends
know-
on where you're at.
Yes, Donna?
Because one of the things we're gonna do is strength assessments.
Yes.
And sometimes what you're wanting the coachee to focus in on is their strengths.
Yeah.
And so it may be possible, because you talked about staffing and weakness, that they may have a weakness that they don't need to work on to be able to still accomplish whatever their
Yes.
specific goal is.
That's
And if you become aware of their strength, then you can focus on what they're good at.
Right.
And
And I think we need to be careful about saying things like what I think they need to work on, because it's just like Pastor said, it's all about what they want to talk about, what they're willing to work on, and we can't be judgmental in saying, you know what, she really need to work on that.
Carmen, make sure when I go through these demonstrations, I start reading something to them, please take pictures of the audience. I want to see their judgmental faces. I'm getting ready to pull my book out in a little while. See what they have to say about it. Get their face up. You know, in that area. But these are just some questions. These are assessment coaching questions you can use with any assessment. And again, you're trying to get them to expound more on what they're getting out of it. And then please don't try to figure out the answer up there. It doesn't work. You're just going up the wrong way. You got to really be focused. We're going to talk about being focused as we get into the second half. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. We're good. You got a 10-minute break. You got our earliest. The earliest we're going to have a break. Oh, wait, my wife got something.
We're celebrating a birthday today.
Oh.